Hello everyone, Coach Lockey here. In today's golf swing video, we are going to be talking about the release and why so many golfers get the release wrong in their golf swing and how they go about trying to fix it incorrectly too. So when people think about the release, they're kind of seeing world-class players, pictures in magazines, on YouTube videos with the club in this sort of position, arms nice and straight, club pointing down towards the target, those kind of ideas, which is all great. And for those people in those pictures and in those videos, that release pattern is working for that player and that great player. But there are plenty of examples of people, great players in the world, not looking like that too. Golfers with strong grips that are trying to manage that loft are going to be looking more like this at impact, and then really sort of holding that loft and that club off to stop it going left. World-class players that aren't going to be taking as much loft off, going to be seen in these sort of more pretty textbook positions. But there aren't many on tour golfers that are adding loft and seeing sort of an amateur release where they add loft, get this club catching up and overtaking to try and hit the golf ball somewhere towards target. Now, if you're a golfer that's trying to fix a high ball flight, one that slices off to the right, which I know is many of you down that lens, trying to fix your release is a good idea, but you're not fixing the root cause of why you do what you do. You do what you do because you need that matchup to be functional. So I add loads of loft onto my club, so I twist it and add loft. People would call this opening. I call it kind of twisting loft on, because it's nothing until it really gets back to the ball. But generally speaking, we're twisting the loft onto the golf club and opening the face. Now, if I do keep that throughout my swing, if I release it in a textbook position, in the way that you see all these lovely pictures, your ball is going to go so high into the right because you've put so much loft on that club face. You need a different release pattern to try and find target. So if you're someone down that lens trying to fix your release, think about what ball flight you have as your standard shot first. The guys on TV, whether they've got a nice neutral textbook grip or they've got a strong or weak grip, they are matching up those release patterns and their grip because they're world-class players and they're doing it day in, day out. Now, if you aren't playing regularly and you're trying to fix your release, you're going to have to sort your club face out first. If you hit high shots and slices, check this out. First of all, we need to manage the loft on your face and your club face to path. So somewhere along the line in your swing, you'll be adding loft, whether it's in the backswing, whether you've got a nice textbook backswing and then you add loft on the way down. Somewhere in your swing, you're going to be adding loft. So first up, we need you to start feeling like knuckles are pointing to the ground as you're coming into impact. If you come on this camera angle now, you'll be able to see all the grooves on the face. If I add loft, it will start to point more behind me, that club, whereas I'm trying to get my face kind of in line with my spine angle, twisted a little bit down to the ground. So make sure when you get to this checkpoint that your loft and club face are in this sort of position. You'll start to feel your knuckles want to start pointing to the ground a little bit more, rather than pointing that glove, the Velcro bit on my glove, to the sky. I'm pointing it more towards the camera, to even slightly down towards the ground. If I get it in a really strong position, I can't even see that pad on my grip. So there's checkpoint one. If you are a high slicer to the right, let's get that loft and face in a strong position first. Once you've got that face in a nice strong position, we can start talking about the release and getting into these lovely textbook positions. So your club is kind of wanting to point slightly to the ground. We're then going to come into impact with a slight bit of shaft lean. Now, different clubs will have different amounts because of the loft, again, that we're delivering to that golf ball. But I've got an 8-iron in my hand. I've got a slight bit of shaft lean. And then as I come round to this textbook, lovely looking finish, you'll now be able to see the back of my club. Slicers, you'll start to see less of it. The toe, the leading edge is pointing up more towards the sky. That will give you loft your face to path will be open and you'll be cutting it off to the right. So what feeling do we need to get that release into that lovely textbook position? Remember, if you're not going to be changing the loft and face to path that you're delivering, you don't want this textbook position because you won't be finding target all of a sudden. Match up your loft and face to path to your releases. So what you'll tend to see with slicers of the golf ball is that they find it really hard to slow this grip end down. So they lead with it, they drag the handle left, the club head stays way behind, that face stays way open, and that's where you get your high wafters to the right. So how do we slow this grip end down? Really simple. What I want you to do is a split grip. So get your left hand in its usual position. Again, if you want to manage loft and the face to path, make sure you're twisting the club in its proper position as well. Don't have the face wide open with loft. Make sure you're getting it into that position, that stronger lofted position. Bottom hands on now the shaft of the golf club. Now what will happen with this is that your lower hand will really overtake and slow this grip end down. It will feel like that right arm is overtaking, extending more, whereas your left one is really slowing this handle down, especially through impact and letting it pass. Now, if you try and get those same feelings with the grip in its usual position, you'll start to see that you add some tilts into your body. My right shoulder is lower than my left. It will look like you're keeping your posture in your golf swing. You're not, because you've now got side bends and things like that in your golf swing. But this is a great drill to get you feeling that that grip end of the club is really slowing down. And this is something that I struggle with as well personally in my golf swing. And I find that this drill really helps me understand this grip end more. Number one, managing loft and face to path. Once you're coming down to shaft parallel to the floor, making sure that that club, that loft is slightly strong and pointing down to the ground. Number two, you can now start to think about changing your release. I can't stress this point enough. There's no point in changing your release if you don't change the loft that you're delivering and the face to path. Remember, if you are a strong gripper though and you're watching this video, you're gonna want to deliver handle forwards. Otherwise, if you add this release pattern into your golf swing, you are going to see a lot of the left hand side of the golf course. So make sure everyone down that lens, you know what grips you've got on your golf club, whether it's strong, neutral or weak, getting that loft sorted in the downswing to then be able to release that club in a proper manner. Let me know in the comments down below, is the release something that you've tried to change and failed with? Is the release something now that you're going to think about changing, but also think about changing with a slight tweak to your loft and face to path control? Because I promise you, those matchups are so crucial for hitting great golf shots. If this helps, give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thanks all for watching. See you in the next one.